This time in actually natural studio, but also having some policy for different forms of animals, because actually in image it's very difficult to understand different forms of different models. Of course, the picture of animals are strictly prohibited in our company. It is very important to understand the glamour, but also photos are extremely corporate and sometimes very protected, also with extra security company. To understand different forms of philosophy, but also psychiatry together with models, it's not easy. To understand that we do not support any forms of dogs, it's also very important. But to understand different forms of scene is also very important for different forms of the objects together with the code. To understand different forms of the code is actually very important, but when you'll see how very difficult images, you'll see that you are living in abstraction. The abstractions in life are extremely difficult, and it's very difficult to understand different forms of abstractions, especially if you see photos together with statue. That is not simple because those photos, but also the statue and photo, it's not alive and it's only an object. Of course, the photos are objects, but it's very difficult to compare them with different forms of the photos of animals. To understand that forms are very natural in origin, but to understand the full introduction together with the fashion, actually all the dogs and animals disappear. To understand photography with life, it's not easy, but it's very difficult to understand different forms of appointments also, and also simple makeup artists. To understand different forms of manners together with security, it's not easy from the department to the department of every city in world. But if this world is Africa, of course, there are also some traditional picture with different forms of animal. To understand different forms of what you like, it's not easy, but also to see different forms of simple photos together with gallery. If one model have gallery of 1000 photo, that's actually higher level model. To understand different forms of proofs are actually simple form, but those photos should not involve any forms of dogs, but also not any forms of any animal. Of course, on photo must be only a human. If there is any dog or any animal, that's not the right photo for the company of simple photography. To understand different forms of wide range and also digitally distributed photos, it's not easy, but also to keep rights. So all the users of the company actually keep their rights, but you can distribute those photos without animals to the web. To pay artists, it's not easy, but to understand premium feature, it's also not easy in that type of service. Different form of image have different forms of reasons. Also, people think about that, but also people can see the labor forms of accounts, but also better and better photography for their life. Of course, the photo can improve your life, but there are different forms of attentions from different form of female or male through their life, or different forms of people around the United States of America or Europe. They have different forms of alternative, what they see, how photo could actually build their life, but also fortune sometimes.